That's America's top military official admitting there were lots of warning signs before Aaron Alexis did the unthinkable. Sadly, we've heard it all before, from the Boston bombings to the Aurora movie theater and Fort Hood shootings. And Jonathan, you say instead of the government snooping on innocent Americans, it's time to start targeting people raising these red flags.
Yeah, I mean, Eric, our defense policies are dominated by egalitarianism, this notion that everyone's the same, no one's more or less of a risk than anyone else. We have to treat everyone equally. Baloney. We should be profiling, particularly and specifically those who we know present a bigger risk than others. So instead of patting down Granny at the TSA, we should pat down those associated with Islamist groups or Name Muhammad or whatever. Instead of restricting everyone's gun rights, we should restrict the gun rights of people who've actually demonstrated mental illness. Or instead of snooping on everyone, we should actually, I don't know, maybe address jihadism and the actual enemies to this country. But instead, we treat everyone the same, and that's why we miss so many of these clear and present dangerous threats.
Wayne, why do we miss so many of these clear and present dangers that Jonathan points out?
Well, I think, Eric, the government is too big. We know that. You've got 8 zillion agencies all falling all over themselves, trying to do some kind of a job that they cannot do. They're ill-equipped to do. They snoop on each other. We know that. Here's the IRS snooping on us, innocent citizens, and the people who are running the IRS don't know any better. And they are, look at the amount of fraud, for example, that's in the disability payments, over $1.4 billion. I mean, these are people who are inept, who are dumb, who are stupid, and we've got them all in the government. They just ought to clear them out, start all over.
All right. Hang in there, relax a little bit here. Hey, Ebony, the Fourth Amendment, though, it's very important, is it not?
Right. It's very important, Eric, and I think when we're talking about anytime you're encroaching on the citizens' privacy rights, you've got to be careful. And above all else, I'm really big into protecting those rights. But here we go. Back to Jonathan's point. It's unreasonable searches and seizures. And when you've got people on record as having documented mental illness, documented arrest records, documented criminal records, that unreasonable notion goes out the window. At this point, you're talking about a reasonable risk of harm that these people are posing. And that's got to trump these privacy rights of individuals.
Michelle, I remember when this whole NSA thing was breaking up. We were doing this every single week. We did it amazingly. We're back on it because the NSA seems to think, and to a certain extent the Obama administration seems to think that, to find the needle, they need to take the whole haystack. Well, not only were they taking the haystack, they were taking the whole darn farm, and they couldn't find the big pickaxe. And are they failing, and is it time to maybe slow down the funding of the NSA?
They're absolutely failing. I mean, look at them. They're spying on innocent Americans while their colleagues, the guys who are sitting in the cubicle right next to them, are being implicated for mass shootings. They're being implicated for espionage. They're being implicated for releasing national secrets. I mean, this is what's going on in the government. And I think the problem is that we have a government that is too big and has spread itself too thin. There are 5 million people with top secret clearance right now, security clearance. Yeah. That is too many people. There's no way you can vet all of these people. There are going to be people falling through the cracks.
You make a very, very valid point. We just found out this week that the same group that vetted the D.C. Navy Yard shooter is the same group that vetted Ed Snowden. Now, some of us here say that, thank goodness for an Ed Snowden. Others say, is this stuff falling through the cracks? Wayne, what say you?
Well, Eric, we've got people in the government spying on each other. I mean, it's insanity. They don't know what they're doing. The one arm of the government has no idea what another arm of the government is doing. They're giving away money, or taxpayer money, and it's beyond control. They can't possibly know what somebody else is doing.
One at a time, please. Go ahead, Michelle, and then John.
They don't even know how to spy properly. They're spying on all these people, and look what's happening. I mean, they didn't even know anything about the Boston bombing, nothing at all. So they're so incompetent.
Okay, John, go ahead.
And the net result is this totally immoral preventative law. So instead of restricting the gun rights of people who actually show mental illness, who show themselves as a threat, they pass laws that restrict everyone's gun rights, which violates everyone's rights, instead of actually focusing on the known threats that we know actually pose a danger.
Once again, cashing in, proving we do NSA, Fourth Amendment stuff better than anyone on television. Coming up.